Joe Biden, the current president of the United States, and First Lady Jill Biden welcoming the president-elect Donald Trump, his wife Melania, to the White House for that coffee and tea expected to take place not right now and then not too long from now, heading to the Capitol for the inauguration ceremony. C-SPAN's coverage continues on it. Again, our main channels are available to you, our various platforms as well. Stay close to C-SPAN for today's events. Again, the House of Representatives coming in just a short while. This is Jake in Connecticut, Republican line. Thanks for holding. Go ahead. Jake in Connecticut, hello. Okay, let's try Aurora in Ohio, independent line.
Hi, good morning. How anybody is celebrating an inauguration of a convicted felon supported the fiscal incompetency of the leaving administration and has the conscience to sit idly by goes to show how powerless we the people really are. My name is Aurora Dawson, and I am running for Columbus City Council District 7, and it's time to stand up, have the courage to change wrong, and meet in the middle so that left and right can coexist, and that's why I'm an independent candidate. Thank you.
David in Massachusetts, Democrats line. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. My name is David. I'm from Andover, Massachusetts. Yeah, I mean, I'm anxious. I'm concerned about this new administration coming in. You know, I'm concerned for my father. You know, he's worked his entire life, and you know, I'm not sure with this current administration that Social Security is still going to be there. And then, of course, I'm concerned for my wife, Emmanuel, who's transitioning, and I'm concerned whether or not they're going to be able to get the gender-affirming care that they need. In addition, you know, I don't know what's going to happen if they get deported. You know, I don't know what's going to happen if they get deported to the Dominican Republic. I don't know what I'm going to do.
From, this is Bonnie in Pennsylvania, Republican line.
Hi, good morning. And I'd like to say thank you for taking my call. And I want to say God bless America, and may God get all the glory for whatever happens today. And I wanted to address the previous caller's concerns about the cutting of the budget that the DOGE is going to be doing. They're going to address some of those issues by having the External Revenue Service and the fair and balanced trade agreements and getting that balanced more fairly, and they're going to get other countries to give more of the share of the funds to NATO so that America isn't fully funding. So that will address some of those issues. And the other thing I'd like to address is the previous caller's questions about what Social Security. Not once did Donald Trump ever say he was going to do anything to cut Social Security. And matter of fact, they're trying to secure Social Security and to make sure that it is safe and clear.
Okay, Bonnie, and calling us again. Continue on with your calls. Our coverage of inauguration events does not end with 10 o'clock coming on. In fact, we will continue on taking your calls, listening to you before the start of the event. The House of Representatives set to come in what's known as a pro forma session, even on this inauguration day. The theme of the session, most likely to be inauguration related, but they'll come in, and once they gavel out of that pro forma session, we will come back and continue on with your calls and showing you the events leading up to today's inauguration events. Again, the House of Representatives set to come in for a pro forma session. We will take you to them now.
The House will be in order. The chair lays before the House a communication from the Speaker.
The Speaker's Rooms, Washington, D.C., January 20th, 2025. I hereby appoint the Honorable Virginia Fox to act as Speaker Pro Tempore on this day. Signed, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House of Representatives.
The prayer will be offered by Chaplain Kibben.
Would you pray with me? You, O Lord, reign forever, judging from your throne with justice. You rule the nations with fairness. On this day, when our nation's power is transferred from President Joseph Biden to President Donald Trump, we pray your reign of peace in this moment, on this nation, and in the hearts of the American people. Grant President Biden the blessing of your reward for his faithfulness to you and to this country. And as you lay the mantle of responsibility on the shoulders of our new president, Donald Trump, grant him, as you did Solomon, a discerning heart to govern your people, to distinguish between right and wrong. Grant him the faithfulness of Abraham, who heard your voice and obeyed. And may he have the heart of David, that you would bestow on him your grace and mercy as he carries out his solemn duties. Then bestow on us, divided though we may be, the unity of your Spirit through the bond of peace, that we would each commit to live into the gifts of that same Spirit, and to serve one another as faithful stewards of your grace. We humble ourselves this day, and we call upon your name. Hear us from your heaven. Forgive us our sin, and heal our land. God bless America. Amen.
Amen. The chair has examined the journal of the last day's proceedings and announces to the House the approval thereof. Pursuant to Clause 1 of Rule 1, the journal stands approved. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by the gentlewoman from Pennsylvania, Ms. Dean. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The chair lays before the House a communication.
The Honorable, the Speaker, House of Representatives, sir, as I prepare to assume my duties as National Security...
The House will be in order. The House will be in order.
The Honorable, the Speaker, House of Representatives, sir, as I prepare to assume my duties as National Security Advisor to the President-elect Donald J. Trump, I hereby make my resignation official from the U.S. House of Representatives, effective January 20th, 2025. I intend to serve out my term in the 118th Congress and to be sworn into the 119th Congress. I've also submitted my notice to Governor Ron DeSantis to advise him on my resignation. I have attached that letter to this notice. It has been my honor to be a member of this chamber and to serve the people of the great state of Florida and the constituents of the 6th District of Florida. I will forever be grateful for my opportunity. I look forward to continuing to work with you and your colleagues in the House, serving the nation in my new position. Signed sincerely, Michael Waltz, Member of Congress.
Under Clause 5. Under Clause 5D of Rule 20, the chair announces to the House that, in light of the resignation of the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Waltz, the whole number of the House is 433. Members are advised that there are no extra seats available in the rotunda for the inauguration. Therefore, only sitting members will be seated in the rotunda. Under no circumstances will former members, former House officers, spouses, or children be able to join the procession or be seated in the rotunda. The Sergeant-at-Arms will precede the procession bearing the mace. Members will be escorted to the rotunda in order of seniority. At this time, members, the resident commissioner, and delegates should congregate by class. Pursuant to House Resolution 43, upon completion of the ceremony, the House will stand adjourned until noon tomorrow for morning hour debate and 2 p.m. for legislative business. Pursuant to House Resolution 43, and without objection, members will now proceed to the rotunda to attend the inaugural ceremonies for the President and Vice President of the United States.
That was on the floor of the House of Representatives. As you heard, the person at the podium, they're preparing for legislators, members to come in to take their places to part of inauguration ceremonies. That's just what's expected. Some of the pictures in the lead up to the events of today, the events being moved indoors because of the cold weather outside. And we'll show you that as we go on. One person not escaping the cold weather outside is our own Tammy Thuringer, who's outside meeting and talking with people.
Hi, Pedro. The line to get in is moving, but still pretty long. It's just a few feet away, but we saw some people that we couldn't not talk with. This is Jake and Tanner and Zach. Thank you guys for talking with us. They may look familiar to you. Tell us who you are.
John Hancock.
George Washington.
Ben Franklin.
Very dedicated to the costumes. Jake made his wig. Otherwise, I believe the costumes were ordered online, but they are very dedicated. Tell us how you got here.
We drove from Jersey this morning, left around 1:30, and arrived around 5 a.m.
And why did you want to come down today?
Just to celebrate America, celebrate Trump, have a good time, spread positivity, visit our own home grounds,
And what all are you going to be doing while you're down here today, seeing the sights?
We're just here to see some things, see what's going on, just celebrate with our brothers here and sisters from America. That's all. That's it.
And you are Trump supporters. You were excited. What do you want to see him focus on as a fellow president?
Just improve the country and just get everybody getting along together and just live in this great country that we have, America.
Yeah, just ending the wars overseas, getting that Bitcoin reserve, baby, and freeing Ross.
Fiscal responsibility and just helping the birds make it to the bowl. That's what we help. That's what we care about.
Are you guys warm enough right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Just warm enough, yes.
Yeah. Hand warmers. Hand warmers.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, of course. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Tammy's out there talking to people as people are gathering in Washington, D.C. If they can't directly participate in events of today, they can watch it on other means and go in and about the city to do so. This is from the Capitol perspective. Dignitaries coming in to become part of the ceremonies as they start to file into the rotunda where the inauguration ceremonies will take place. As you're watching that, let's hear from Kem in West Virginia. Independent line, go ahead.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for taking my call. I just wanted to say that in a country so desperately racked by debt, we're trillions of dollars in debt, that it's shameful that we spend any money at all on these kinds of ceremonies, on this kind of pomp. It's shameful. That and the fact that we have prayer in Congress, that we have chaplains or priests here at all. This isn't a Christian country. Thomas Jefferson is rolling in his grave. The separation of church and state must be maintained. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Roland up next in New York, Democrats line.
Yeah, I mean, today is a day of a peaceful transition of power. I think that is a beautiful thing for this country. I don't personally support Trump. I don't think he agrees with much of my policy, but I want to see today be day of unity. I want to see him offer his vision forward for Americans. What is he doing for us? What is he doing going forward for this country? And what is his vision? How is he going to get us out of debt? How is he going to end these wars abroad? Well, I don't personally support him. I think he can make this a day of unity, and I'm excited for that. Thank you.
Eric is next. Eric is in Illinois, Republican line.
Hello, Pedro.
You're on. Go ahead.
Oh, thanks for taking my call. I'm actually born Republican, raised good Christian values. I'm actually very, very hopeful for the country with Trump taking office back, and very, very positive to see prayer in Congress, and hoping that if nothing else, Trump brings a religious revival to this country, because that's needed more than anything else, is to get God back in this country.
Okay. Eric there, part of our calls that we're taking for this inauguration ceremony. You may have noticed on the left side of your screen, just briefly, pictures of former heads of the House of Representatives, former that Speaker Newt Gingrich, former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich, former Speaker John Boehner in that mix, and former Speaker Kevin McCarthy also will be part of today's ceremony, in attendance in today's ceremony. Jared in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Independent Line.
Hi, this is Jared. I want to wish everybody a happy MLK Day and a happy Inauguration Day. I just wanted to talk about what I'll be looking for in the midterms, which is primarily, a couple more moderate, independent changes to the government, mainly, coinage reform. I want to get rid of the penny and the nickel. I think they cost more to produce than they're worth. And I'm also looking for copyright changes, putting the power back in the hands of people. I should be able to change the format of my DVD collection if I'd like to. But happy Inauguration Day to everybody, and happy MLK Day as well.
Janine in Ohio, Democrats line.
You even hear what he said, Mark?
Hi.
Hi, Janine, go ahead.
Thank you for having me on here. I do believe that the shift of power, I'm glad they're both acting like adults and that everything is going to go smoothly. I do believe that everything went the way it was supposed to in the election, and I'm glad to see everybody, again, acting like adults.
Lots of folks heading into the Capitol and the lead up to the events of today. As we watch that, we'll go to John McCardle.
Pedro, in that brief House session that we showed viewers there, you saw the announcement that Michael Waltz was resigning from Congress today. He was nominated by Donald Trump to be Donald Trump's national security advisor, so his resignation coming today ahead of that. He sent out this tweet earlier this morning from St. John's Church, a picture of the then congressman there with Elon Musk. That tweet coming out at about 8:30 this morning before the ceremony began at the church. And then, as John Bresnahan notes on Punchbowl News, with Michael Waltz's resignation today, the House ratio is razor thin between Republicans and Democrats. It's now 218 Republicans to 215 Democrats. There's 2 vacancies currently in the House. We've been showing you those pictures all morning long of people arriving on Capitol Hill. Mitch McConnell there arriving in the rotunda. The ceremony's getting set to begin. We'll continue to show you those pictures all morning long.
Anthony in New York State, Republican line. Go ahead.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Go ahead.
Yes, hi. I'm calling from the Republican line, and I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Inauguration Day and to 4 more years of President Donald John Trump. He's going to do so many great things for this country, because the bottom line is, with President Trump, promises are made and promises are kept. And this time around with the Trump administration 2.0, we're going to accomplish even so much more than before, because the bottom line is that we have disruptors in the system that are going to be placed on numerous cabinet positions, including Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense, Kash Patel for Director of the FBI, Tulsi Gabbard for Director of National Intelligence, and many other picks as well that are really going to bring about monumental change and comprehensive reform to our systems. So I'm looking forward to that. And, I'm also looking forward to the fact that, now after 4 disastrous years of Joe Biden, we now have somebody who's going to bring about peace through strength.
And Anthony, I apologize. I only want to highlight the fact that these former House speakers, Speakers Gingrich, Boehner, John Boehner, and Kevin McCarthy, now entering the rotunda area as part of the activities of today. The Senate Minority Leader, Mitch McConnell, also entering in as well. These are the seats that will start filling up as part of the inauguration ceremonies. We'll continue to show you that. But to talk about how a White House itself transitions is Bradley Blakeman. He served as former Deputy Assistant to President George W. Bush. He served as the Deputy Assistant to Presidential Appointments and other things and here to talk about how White House's changes on this day. Mr. Blakeman, thanks for giving us your time.
Pleasure.
Talk about your role that you had in the Bush administration about seeing this transition from one White House to another.
Well, I was the gatekeeper for President 43, George W. Bush, which meant I was in charge of his time, his schedule, appointments, and vetting, research, correspondence, and surrogate scheduling. So I had to create a schedule with the president for the first 100 days. And the first 21 days were extremely important because that was the time of taking power, of also establishing yourself as president with your cabinet, with your staff, and then getting ready to roll after the 100 days through your first term. So today, for instance, is a day of true transition because the new White House staff and the president really do not take power until 12:01 today, Eastern time. So you're not even allowed in the White House until the president is sworn in. And once you get to the White House is really in a physical transition because the old papers and furniture of the president, former president, are being moved out, and the new president's furniture and belongings are being moved in, and the staff is getting settled, whether it's in the old executive office building on the 18 acres of the White House or the West Wing of the White House and the East Wing in the case of the First Lady.
How deep is the changeover? Is it just for the main offices? Is it just for the residents? How deep is the changeover throughout the White House?
The entire 18 acres is in change, except for those career employees in the mansion itself. They remain, of course, but the political appointees are gone, and a new crew is moved in, and the Oval Office is completely emptied. It's one of the first times that you'll ever see the complete Oval Office emptied. The new furnishings of President Trump will be moved in.
Let me just pause a second. I'm sorry, Hillary Clinton and her husband, former President Bill Clinton, entering the Capitol now. Mr. Blakeman, go ahead. I apologize.
No, when the coffee and tea between the president and the president-elect and the first ladies are had in the White House, as soon as they depart the White House, it is really almost a military mission of moving in and moving out. By the time the president retires to the White House this evening, the transformation will be complete. The West Wing will be painted, recarpeted. It is an amazing display of logistics because trucks are literally waiting now outside the White House grounds, ready to come in and establish those procedures as soon as the president and the president-elect head off to the Capitol for the swearing in.
There's a shot of former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Mr. Blakeman, what's the manpower like to make this transition of a White House?
About 500 people who are going to descend on the 18 acres and make this happen. Everybody from the Park Service to the mansion staff to the GSA, the General Services Administration. They are all in coordination in the transition. These plans have been made, and then they're executed literally within 12 hours. The White House is completely transformed.
I've read in some places it's down as far as nuance to the type of toothpaste that sits on a counter and making sure a toothbrush is there as well.
Well, the good news is President Trump was there before, so there's no learning curve. The mansion staff is fully aware of their likes and dislikes and how they comport themselves in their personal lives. So it's really going to be an easier change than most because, of course, the Trumps are returning to the White House.
DOJ co-chair Vivek Ramaswamy, you're seeing on your screen, Steny Hoyer, former representative of Maryland. Mr. Blakeman, then when do they know when it's done? Is there an established time they say, okay, you guys got to be out of here?
It's done when the president and the first lady are back on their way to the White House. And then it continues the following day, but to a lesser degree because it's a work environment. You literally hit the ground running. I remember in the case of President George W. Bush, we had a senior staff meeting at 7 a.m. on the next day, Tuesday, the 21st, and we were hitting the ground running, and we were fully operational. Everything was in place. The GSA, the White House mansion staff, the usher's office, the Park Service, they did a magnificent job. It was almost as if we had been there for 4 years. We felt right at home right at the start, and we were ready to go to work.
If the Trumps live in Florida, who's responsible for making sure their goods get from Florida to the White House in this preparation?
The Trumps are. They are responsible for getting their belongings to the White House, and once it hits the White House gate, the White House is then, the usher's office is responsible for, and the First Lady, of course, and the family in making sure those items are where they need to go. But it's really up to the family to get those items there. And as far as Mar-a-Lago is concerned, that will be the president's home. So when he visits there, there'll be a certain amount of staff that will join him there, including personal staff. That, again, is no learning curve because that's happened before.
This is Bradley Blakeman. He served as a former deputy assistant to President George W. Bush, part of this process of changing over the White House from one president to another. Mr. Blakeman, thanks for your time today.
Thank you so much.
Again, we're continue watching members of Congress currently come in to take their places for the inauguration. Other people as well, faces that you find familiar there as you keep watching the screen. Let's hear from Rashad. Rashad joins us from Canada, Democrats line. Hi.
Hi, thank you for having me. I just wanted to start by saying happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a day that we celebrate someone who advocated for nonviolent activism in the civil rights movement, an inspirational human being that fought for human rights. Currently, I feel a little disheartened at the slander that's used in political campaigns. And for me personally, I see that coming more from the conservative side. The slander used to call people who have opposing thoughts weak. I think it's unjust. It's not right. And the idea that there's a lack of confident people on the other side with liberals is not true. And an example of this, and this person is now my hero after watching this, is Senator Tammy Duckworth, who served Pete Hegseth at his nomination hearing. That is an example of a confident person, and AOC is as well. And we see that so much, and I just really hope that we see more people use their voice and
we'll stop you there only to see that Doug Emhoff, the current first gentleman of the United States, Usha Vance, also walking out of the White House. Again, they were participating in coffee and a tea ceremony there, and now making their way to the Capitol. We'll be showing you these exits as they occur. Let's hear from Teresa. Teresa in South Carolina, Independent Line. Hi.
Hello.
You're on. Go ahead.
I just want to thank C-SPAN. I watched all the inaugurations beginning from a long time ago. And I have a question. On FDR, he served 4 terms. He died while serving in the 4th term. When did we start having the term limits? And also, oh gosh, the term limits, and was it because he served so long because of the Depression and World War II? Or was it, maybe it was World War One? Anyway, was it because of that he had such a long term? Thank you.
Okay, that's Teresa there. I think maybe we can find an answer for you. This is Dan in Charlottesville, Virginia, Republican line. Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Fine, thanks. Go ahead, please.
Good. Just want to thank C-SPAN and thank you for taking my call. I think this is a great day to be an American. It is exciting to watch C-SPAN's coverage of the inauguration take place in an orderly manner, and I know that our founding fathers would be proud of the way we are conducting business in this country today.
Again, viewers, just in case you're watching the split screen there on your television, the Capitol is what you're seeing on the left side of your screen. The White House on the right side. We're awaiting the president and the president-elect to make their way out. We're watching people being seated, and the activities in preparation for the later inaugural ceremonies take place on the left-hand side. Let's hear from Finn. Finn in Illinois. Democrats line.
Hi, am I on?
Yes, you go ahead.
I just wanted to share my views on Trump. I wanted to say, I think that his supporters like to act like the stuff he's done is normal, like, quoting Hitler and threatening political opponents with military force and threatening to end DACA and birthright citizenship, and that it's like normal stuff. It's not. It's fascist stuff. And I just wanted to say, like, if the president does this stuff and it makes the price of eggs go down, and that's, worth it to some people, I hope they're happy, but I'm not. And anyway.
Orlando, Florida, Independent Line. Soo Chin, hello.
Hello. Yes, what I wanted to say was I think this inauguration is obviously important for each and every one of our citizens, as it's a very peaceful transition of power. I just hope that with this whole election season that people take an interest in politics and do some of the research actually, and talk more with the people around you on policies and issues, because that's the best way when it comes to creating dialogue that can actually create solutions that benefit the majority of us instead of dragging into the itty bitty. So I hope that that the inauguration goes well, and I hope that people actually take the time to be more civically engaged. Thank you.
From Zachary, who is in Iowa, Republican line. You're next up. Hello.
Good morning. I would like to thank C-SPAN, first of all, for broadcasting this momentous day in America. It's truly a good day to be an American. There's a few things I want to hear from Donald Trump today during his inauguration speech. I would like to hear a little tidbit of what his stance is on the continuation of the ceasefire between Israel and Palestine. I would also like to hear what his stance is going to be on Skibidi Toilet and the war with Howard's.
Richard in South Carolina, Democrats line. You're next up on this Inauguration Day coverage. Go ahead.
Hi. I probably want to answer a question that a lady raised about Biden saying 100% of funds for the fires out in California. I don't know what she meant by that, but I would assume it does not include getting a new house for everybody. I think there will be funds for the reconstruction of some of the systems that they have, and there will be loan guarantees. But I don't think you should interpret his statement of 100% as something that's going to happen. My second point, the gentleman just called to say, from the Republican line, a gentleman just called to say that he was proud of today's ceremony, as I too am proud. My question would be, was he as proud 4 years ago when that transition took place? I'd have to get an answer from him, because I think he'll probably say, oh, yeah, I was proud of that too. Thank you for your call. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You can continue on calling on the following lines. Democrats 202-748-8000. Republicans 202-748-8001. Independents 202-748-8002. More exits from the White House. We'll watch the First Lady and the incoming First Lady come out. We'll see more of those exits as the morning progresses, as all head on to the U.S. Capitol. Let's hear from Rayson in Tennessee, Republican line. Hello.
Hey, hello. My name is Rayson Robertson, Pulaski, Tennessee. I just want to say Happy Martin Luther King Day, and I wanted to say that it's a great day for, just mostly all of America for, just Donald Trump winning. I'm really happy that he won, and there's a lot of reasons that I could be happy. I don't really think there's enough time to list them all, but I just wanted to be happy for a peaceful transition into power and that everyone's, being civil about this and there isn't a big, fight or issue going wrong, and everyone can, be happy that it was a nice transition of power.
From Joe in Maryland, independent line.
Hey, down here in Chaptico, Maryland. Yes, sir. Pedro, good morning. Thank you for all your work. 2 questions for you and then a real quick statement, too, Pedro. You called Steny Hoyer the former congressman. Is he a former congressman now? I'm not being facetious. Did he lose or is he still in there?
He's a former congressman, yes.
Wow, he's out now? I did not know that. And you called Doug Emhoff the first gentleman. And is he the first gentleman or the second? How does that work?
The second gentleman probably misspoke in the sense that, or the first gentleman, yeah.
Okay. I'm just being a stickler, having fun with you, brother. Real quick, today's MLK Day and Inauguration Day. There's no
well,
one
let me
day
pause
better.
you for a second, Joe, and as we watch the vice president and the incoming vice president come out.
Very well, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
This is part of the process of those leaving the White House to head to the Capitol. We're still on with Joe. Joe, I apologize. I believe I misspoke. Steny Hoyer is still in Congress. I think I misspoke on that part.
Oh, wow. You know what? I apologize for even talking about stuff like the first gentleman and second and third.
No, it's okay. No, it's good to be accurate. Go ahead and finish.
Well, funny, and it doesn't come across as funny, and it probably made you feel a certain way, and I feel so bad even talking about it because you are perfect, brother, and I mean that, and aren't we all? But that said, never mind with Steny Hoyer, one day, right, it will be former congressman, so nevertheless, you would think that by now, actually, but that might have been a Freudian fact. But, yeah, the Trump, today's inauguration, today's MLK Day, and they are both special days for all of us. Don't be picking one over the other. But truth be known, because of our inauguration days, we have MLK Day. And I am supposed to be at the Metropolitan AME Church right now. I have a press pass to be there up on the balcony. But I have to go clean dryer vents instead today. And I understand that. And anyway, Pedro, I love everybody. Peace be with all of us, please. And we can make it that way. And
Okay. Let's go to the Democrats line. Eileen in Florida. Good morning.
Good morning. As I'm watching the inauguration, the peaceful transition of power, I'd like to remind all the listeners on all sides of the aisle that 4 years ago, Trump was too coward to attend Joe Biden's inauguration. He didn't go. Melania didn't go because they cried for 4 years that they won, but they didn't show up for Joe's inauguration. And if you remember when Trump won in 2016, even though Obama was criticized and called names and accused of not being a legitimate president, he showed up for Trump's inauguration. So it just shows you how petty Trump is and what a true American and patriot Joe Biden and Jill Biden are. And I just wanted to remind everybody that Trump did not show up 4 years ago. And that's important. It should be important for all Americans because he lost, poor loser, didn't show up. And here's Joe Biden, attending his inauguration like true patriot. That's all I have to say today. And go out and celebrate. I'm on my way to Martin Luther King Parade in downtown St. Petersburg, Florida, even though it's 47 degrees here. And I do want to say one last thing. I'm sorry. I think Trump had his inauguration inside today because he was afraid that the small crowds, because of the cold weather, wouldn't show up.
Okay.
Anyway,
let's hear from Ryan. Ryan in Mississippi, Republican line.
Good morning. Happy Inauguration Day. Happy MLK Day. I just wanted to make a reference to the independent gentleman earlier who was talking about his complaints about pomp and circumstance and Thomas Jefferson rolling over in his grave. For listeners at home, Thomas Jefferson was president of the Senate in 1800 when they approved to use the Capitol building as a church grounds. And when he wrote his letter about separation of church and state, he attended a church service within the next several days in the Capitol building. Other than that, God bless America and God bless the outgoing president.
Caller, I'll put you on pause as we watch the president and the president-elect. So now loaded into the beast, as it's commonly known as, the president and the president-elect heading off to the U.S. Capitol to the start of inauguration ceremonies in just a little while from now. We'll let you watch the cars roll out, and as we do that, we'll go to Mallory. Mallory, who is in Virginia, Democrats line. Hello.
Hi, thank you. I just wanted to say thank you, C-SPAN, for hosting today's inauguration ceremony. And I'm just hoping for a peaceful transfer of power today, like everyone else is hoping for. And also really hoping that people recognize today as Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and that hopefully President-elect Trump will make a comment about that, and also hopefully speaking about what he plans to do about the ceasefire. But yeah, and happy Inauguration Day, and hoping for a peaceful day.
You probably saw on your left-hand side of your screen, viewers, very quickly Elon Musk within the Capitol building, the rotunda there, as the dignitaries walk in to take their seats. This is Kate in New York, Independent Line.
Oh, hi. This is Kate from New York. Thank you so much for providing a platform for us to have these conversations. I just wanted to say, as a millennial, I am very disappointed and disheartened about the influence of money in politics. Speaking of Elon Musk, these issues affect us. They will continue to affect my generation and generations after me. We have to keep making this world a better place, not a richer place for the 1%. Please, millennials, vote better. Convince Gen Z to vote better. Please, we need to reclaim our democracy and ensure that the government reflects the will of the people, not the richest donors. Transparency, accountability, and reform are essential now, not later. Take action now. That's all.
That was Kate, New York. As you watch the drive along the street, you'll notice that not only is the car that contains the president and the president-elect surrounded by security, but security lining the streets as well. Earlier, we showed you the streets of Pennsylvania Avenue being lined up by lawmen and law enforcement. That's all part of the process as the two gentlemen in the car head to the U.S. Capitol. And this is Andrew, California, Republican line. Hi.
Yeah, this is Andrew Garcia from California. I would just like to say thank you to President Biden, and I'm hopeful for the next 4 years with President Trump, and I'm proud to be an American. God bless America.
The newly minted Senator from California, Adam Schiff, on the left-hand side of your screen, taking his seat. The motorcade still riding along on the right. Nathan up next. He's in Watertown, New York. Democrats line. Hi.
First of all, happy Martin Luther King Day, a day that was enshrined because of the history of progress in this country that I believe is coming to a halt. I wanted to address a gentleman on the Republican line that said earlier that the founding fathers would be proud, which I don't understand where they get that, because they're fighting a world superpower instead of bowing down and letting billionaires run their administration. I fear the progress of this country, but I hope him the best because of the position. But I guess that's all I have to say. God bless America, and hopefully the next 4 years aren't as scary as everyone thinks they're going to be.
Jacob joins us from Ohio, Independent line.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, earlier I heard someone say that they didn't like that there were priests and religious people. I actually think that's the best part of all this. Catholicism is true. Pope Francis will take over the country. Very based, very epic. I wish I could have voted for Trump, but, sadly he wasn't Catholic enough for me. Maybe the candidate next time will be, although I do appreciate all the Catholic stuff that is present at this inauguration.
That is Jacob joining us from Ohio. Just to show you a headline from the Associated Press from earlier today on this inauguration day, it was Pope Francis making comments about the president-elect, particularly his plans for mass deportation of immigrants, saying that he called it a disgrace as he weighed in on the incoming U.S. president's pledges nearly a decade after calling him, quote, not Christian for wanting to build a wall along the U.S.-Mexican border. Francis made the comments during an appearance at an official telegram, or made an appearance on a podcast, I believe. So that's just a story from the Associated Press. Let's go back to John McCardle.
Pedro, a minute or two before Donald Trump gets up here to Capitol Hill and will arrive at the United States Capitol, I wanted to show viewers what the program looks like on the seats in the rotunda where all the members are gathering. The Twitter image of that program, one of those programs today, laying out the musical prelude from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, combined choruses, the call to order. We'll hear, of course, the swearing in of the vice president and the president. There'll be more musical accompaniments. The Battle Hymn of the Republic will be played. It's going to be quite a ceremony here in just a few minutes. Of course, the president will end with his inaugural address, and some excerpts of the inaugural address already being released. The president will say, in part, I return to the presidency confident and optimistic that we are at the start of a thrilling new era of national success. A tide of change is sweeping the country. Rachel Scott of ABC News tweeting out some of the snippets of that inaugural address. One more tweet for you, this from Mike Pence, noting that he is going to attend the inauguration of the president, saying this is a day when every American does well to celebrate our democracy and the peaceful transfer of power under the Constitution of the United States. And then, Pedro, you showed Vivek Ramaswamy in the rotunda there, the co-leader of DOJ, though not expected to be at the Department of Government Efficiency for too much longer. At least that's the reporting this morning. This is the headline from Politico, noting that Ramaswamy is set to leave DOJ, and it's CBS News noting that he's expected to soon step away from the task force. He intends to announce a campaign for Ohio governor as soon as the end of January, according to multiple sources and multiple outlets reporting that Vivek Ramaswamy, 39 years old, he will be in attendance today at the Capitol Rotunda.
Let's hear from Dakota in New York, Republican line.
Hello, I just wanted to say happy Martin Luther King Day, and I think for a lot of us, this is a very good day. It's a historic day. I want to wish President Trump and everybody else involved a safe day, And that is what I have for now, and thank you for taking my call.
The motorcade rolling on towards the U.S. Capitol. That car you see containing the president and the president-elect as they make their way. Someone who's been out and about today, Tammy Thuringer, talking with people. Tammy, hello.
Here we go. Hi, Pedro. Still cold out here. We're making our way around. The crowd to get into the arena is on the other block from here, but we found another line of people there just trying to get in to part of the city that is sectioned off. You've probably seen those images of the black fencing around the city. There's more of it here. But Josh is a resident of D.C. He's trying to get back into a city. Josh, how did you end up on this side of the fence today?
We tried to walk and go through the inauguration, but that was completely filled, and so we just tried to get back to the apartment, but so many streets were blocked off and fenced off that we found our way into this line to just cross over to get to the street that we need to get to, and so that's how we got here today.
And once you get on the other side, what's your plan?
We're gonna go get a drink, gonna go find a bar, get a drink, and then head back to the crib and just kind of defrost and get a little bit of the warmth back in our bones.
And you said that you had left your house this morning at 6:30, hoping to get into the arena. Why did you want to go to the inauguration?
Because it's the inauguration of a president, and that's a very historic event. It's something that I personally never been able to see. And so now that I live in D.C., I've been in D.C. for a couple of years now. This is the first time they've had inauguration. So I was like, of course, if I can go and see something like that, like, I'm going to want to.
President-elect Trump is busy right now. He just left the White House. They're on their way to the Capitol. But if you were watching this and you could give him a message, something you want him to focus on during his next term, what would you say?
I would say, one, stay warm. It's cold out here, so that's my number one advice for him. And two, this might be a little personal, but try to work on bringing down some of the prices that we have going on in our economy right now. Groceries are expensive, rent is expensive, and I don't know what his exact economic plans are, but if he can do something with the policy in order to kind of help bring down the prices of things so that people can go back to being able to afford a full cart of groceries, that would be something I think he needs to focus on and work on.
Josh, thank you so much.
Of course, thank you. Appreciate it.
The Capital One Arena is. That's where people are lining up to become part